Welcome to the Q.A.C. Team podcast series with your host, Charles Luttrell. Our series features leaders and business owners in your community discussing the customer experience, employee satisfaction, and performance improvement. Our series will help share strategic ideas for coaching and mentoring through mystery shopping in a post-pandemic economy. And now here's your host, Charles Luttrell.
Good morning, listeners. I'm here with Nichol. Good morning, Nichol.
Good morning.
How are you this Monday morning?
Very great.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and get started. Tell us who you are and what you do.
My name's Nichol Barbes, and I am the owner of the Newberry Cafe and Bakery in Bel Air.
Newberry Cafe Bakery.
Yep.
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yep. I started 6 years ago as the Newberry Cafe and Bakery, and actually recently I updated it to just the Newberry.
Ah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So why did you decide to be a business owner?
When my youngest son went to school, I was a stay-at-home mom at the time, and I needed a job. So I became a realtor because as a mom, I really could never have a job 9 to 5 because my kids come first always. So I was a realtor for a while, and part-time I worked at a restaurant as the dessert maker and the cake decorator. And then I would just do whatever anyone needed, cook or hostess or whatever. And I learned how to make cakes as a stay-at-home mom, and I learned how to cook as a stay-at-home mom.
Oh, wow.
So I had been a realtor a couple years, and one of my close friends that was also a baker needed a job. And I thought, well, let's open a shop of our own, because in Bel Air, there really wasn't too many shops at the time to make cakes. So I started looking around for a spot, and I was going to open just a little tiny cake shop with cupcakes and some desserts. So I looked at the front of the Bel Air Liquors, which was a new building at the time, and he had space in the front. But the space really wasn't great for cooking because it didn't have the things you needed for a health department. So I kept looking, and at the same time, Bel Air Bakery was having an auction. They had been closed 2 years, and they had been in town for 50 years, open as the bakery. And they were having an auction. I thought, well, I'll go to this and see if I can buy some things. So I went to the bakery, and they were selling the ovens that they had there for 50 years, really great ovens. And they were selling them for $75. So I bought them, and I bought several other things. And then a gentleman at the auction said to me, how do you plan on moving those ovens? They're like 3 tons each.
Oh, my
And
gosh.
I thought, oh, wait a second, that's not going to fit my Honda Pilot. What am I going to do?
Right.
So I called my husband. I said, I just bought these huge ovens. I don't know what we're going to do with them. Not sure, whatever. He's like, all right, well, I'll look into getting a truck or renting a truck. I was like, okay. So then the auction came to a close, and Mr. Hamilton, who was the owner of the Bel Air Bakery, had said to me, well, so you bought these ovens. What are you going to do with them? And I said, well, I'm going to open a little shop down the road. And he says, why don't you just stay in this space? You can rent it for me for $4,000 a month. And I was a realtor at the time. And, I did a quick math, and I thought, oh, it's a lot of space. Good price. Okay, that sounds good. So I agreed, and then started the process of basically taking over a Bel Air institution.
Wow.
So the idea that we were just going to make some cakes, turned into, okay, maybe we'll have donuts because their donut maker needed a job. And so I'm like, okay, we'll make donuts. And I was like, we have this big kitchen, we'll make sandwiches. So that's how we turned into what we are today, which the reason I changed the name from the Newberry Cafe and Bakery to the Newberry is because essentially we're not a bakery like the Bel Air Bakery was, or as your bakery was when you were growing up, where you went and they had bread and they had pies and they had things that you count on a bakery having. So a lot of the times people will come and they'll say, well, don't you have pies, or don't you have, but we don't. we are like a mixed bag of things that is maybe different, but we have cakes, we have cupcakes, donuts is our biggest seller, and then we have breakfast sandwiches. So it's a little bit of a different thing than a bakery.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's great. Now, is there any? Are you going to update like from the Newberry Cafe to just the Newberry?
I'm
Your
sorry.
your name.
Yeah, I mean, I did on my logos and such. I don't know if
Mhm.
I really, I probably won't change it legally, but it's just the Newberry, and that's what people call it. The
Yeah.
Newberry, or I'm going to the Newberry, so it's fine. It's what it is.
Yeah, I always drive by and say, "There's a Newberry Cafe." It just
Right,
comes out.
right. Because we have sandwiches, so it's I really just needed to get rid of the bakery part of it because people's expectations are disappointed when it's just donuts, cakes, and cupcakes. So
Yeah, that is true. That is
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know you have the most awesome donuts that I like.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes, they were wonderful. And
Thank you.
and the pictures I took of that, I show people the pictures. They're like, "That's a donut." I go, "Yes, look how thick and fluffy that
I
is."
know, I know, I know.
So
They really
good.
are great. Yeah.
So why did you choose um, being in this industry and not sticking with real estate?
Um, it just comes naturally to me. I'm part of a big family, and food was always a big part of my life. It's just really natural for me to just want to make food for people.
Right.
And, real estate's fine, but it's really not for me. It's
And
more, yeah.
yeah, and you're originally from
New Jersey.
Jersey,
Yep.
and you brought some of those favorites
I did. I could
from.
not open a breakfast place without having a pork roll, egg, and cheese, which is a New Jersey staple. And it's funny, since I've had it, and people, from New Jersey, there's a lot of New Jersey transports here in Bel Air because of the base. But a lot of people in Baltimore actually grew up with pork roll too.
Uh-huh.
So it's a lot of local people that eat it also.
Right.
Yeah.
And as I've been up here, this will be 8 years now, and I did not know that you had sandwiches. I thought you were just a bakery.
Yeah.
So I'm just
Yeah.
as shocked today. So I was today years old when I found out that you were more than a bakery.
Yeah. 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 And, I think that's what happens with business. You just evolve where your customers take you and what's, natural to the business. So, a lot of that, like I was saying, losing the bakery part, when I started, I did want to make other things and I did try to make other things. But naturally, we're just people want donuts and people want breakfast sandwiches and people want custom cakes. And that's really where it's come.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And there's competition too, right? Because now you have ShopRite, you have Wegmans,
Yeah.
and they do cakes too, right? And
Yeah.
has it hurt the business any, or are you still good with like cake orders and things?
When I started, I'm not sure if you know Jason, who's from the Cupcakery. Well, he started at Flavor. He opened while I was under construction. He opened a cake shop 2 blocks away from me, and I thought, oh my God, there it goes. What am I going to do? How am I going to compete with this?
Right.
And
Especially somebody who
short
was on the Cupcake Wars,
Oh
right?
yeah, I mean, he was in a cupcake where he's very successful now in Timonium, but he closed down shortly. Like I would say, maybe he was there maybe a year. He closed down, so that was okay. And then we had a donut shop come in and make donuts, and I thought, oh gosh, it's over. What are we gonna
Right.
do?
Right.
And then they closed down eventually. So I just do my best and just try to keep my head down on the grind and not worry about, if someone opens a shop or if someone's got what we have. I just do the best I can do and hope that's enough. And so far, it's been okay.
Yeah. I mean, I come by there probably 50 times a day, from the morning until you close. When you're open till what, 2 o'clock, is
Hmm.
it? And I see people running across the street all the time and coming in and out. Especially on the weekends, there are lines,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
that just shows right there that you're doing great and you have a good product.
Yeah, we definitely do try. And donuts are not easy. It's definitely taxing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey listeners, Q.A.C. team here. We interrupt this podcast to offer business owners an opportunity to take advantage of our free business analysis. We will visit your location to assess food quality, timing, customer service, and cleanliness. From the web, visit QACteam.com and click on Free Analysis and Consultation at the top of the page. While you are there, to sponsor a podcast or be featured, click on Feature Me. For mobile users, select from the menu options. We look forward to helping your business grow.
How is is your process different making donuts than regular? Or because I know I went to Duck Donuts one time. I was in Virginia,
Yeah.
and you could stand there and watch the
Right.
process, how they made the donuts. That was interesting. They weren't the best. They were okay,
Yeah.
but
Um,
compared to you, oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You beat Duck Donuts for sure,
Thank you.
and Dunkin' Donuts.
Well, the trend nowadays with donut shops for a reason is that they only make cake donuts, because cake donuts, it's like a batter. You fry the batter and you have a donut. Altogether, it might take 20 minutes. Now, yeast donuts is alive and it's active, and it takes 3 times of proofing. So for one batch of yeast donuts, it takes us over 2 hours.
Wow.
And they're hand cut. Someone's hand touches every single donut.
Mm-hmm.
As cake donuts, you run it through a hopper, and, someone can pump out 72 donuts quickly. So that's really another reason why people come and go as far as donut shops go, because it's an experience driven job. And my donut maker's been here since a long time, Mr. Hamilton. So.
Gotcha. So that's the difference, because I know, when I watched Duck Donuts do it, they were just kind of pumping them out, and
Right.
a couple minutes later, he had a nice hot donut, but
Right.
I wasn't that impressed.
Yeah.
But when I had your Boston cream and
Mm-hmm.
a regular chocolate donut, I was blown away.
Thank you.
It's very good.
And that comes with years of experience. So, yeah.
Hey, you know what you do, right? You got
That's
it
it.
down. That's
That's it.
awesome. Yep. So, what are some of the challenges that you face?
Well, nowadays, as with everyone else, it's, what's available in the market, and the prices are so tumultuous. Our eggs right now are, I think, like maybe four times what they were 2 weeks ago. We've had this happen with butter, whatever different things it's really, the foods go up. And then the other problem we had, especially during COVID, was getting things like gloves. We would spend $20 on a box of gloves. And at the height of COVID, they were $90 for one box of gloves.
Wow.
Yeah. And we go through gloves. So it
Wow.
hurt. Like, those kinds of things hurt, and then also another thing that we have is maybe we don't get some ingredients because it didn't get to where it was going. Like, there was trucking problems. And so, we're always, every week, it's almost like we're facing a different problem in the market.
Yeah. I was, that was my question, was going to be, how many eggs do you go through a day? I can only imagine.
Yeah, we go through 150 dozen a week.
And the price of those. Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they tripled this week. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so you have to ride the market wave and, hope that they go down next week, or, you can make up the cost somewhere else, kind of thing.
I haven't done any research, because I'm not a big egg eater anymore like I used to be. But what's driving this egg price? Do you know what it is?
Apparently, the bird flu affected production. At least that's what that's what I thought it was. Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Sometimes I wonder about these stories they tell us, but you got to believe what they put out there.
Yeah, I heard that they got up to like $11 a dozen.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, sorry, I'm glad I'm not buying eggs right now, because I'm not buying eggs for $11 a dozen. That's insane. And has this affected the pricing any? or do you try to keep price still be
I
competitive?
mean, I really do try to keep it. Like I told my employees, if the eggs stay this price, we are going to have to change prices eventually. But, I'm hoping just to ride it and it rides out.
Right.
And so we'll see.
Yeah. So, we talked a little bit about it, but how has the pandemic changed your business model besides, I know you talked about the gloves were expensive, and
Yeah.
of course that's changed now, but overall, how's the pandemic changed what you do and how you do things?
Oh, it's amazing what happened. But I'm grateful for in my business, the shutdown and everything, it grew our business. I would say we doubled business from COVID. But in that also, it was a lot of constant work on our part. So when we had the mandatory close, we closed for 2 weeks. And then for probably 2 months, we were open. We were doing business. You pulled up and we literally went outside and serviced every single customer in the middle of winter too. And we all just had to work double hard just to keep it going. And that really is what kept it going. And a lot of places were closed. So we got a lot of business that we hadn't already had, which was super great.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then that turned into delivering, and then that opened the door to doing DoorDash and Grubhub and Uber Eats, and I think a lot of the customers nowadays, that changed everyone's mentality, especially young people. Like, so many people order DoorDash. So we started DoorDash a year ago, and that probably increased our sales at least 20%.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, and during that, and it's so great to have more business, but the other side of that is you have to figure out how to manage more business, which is constantly taxing. Like, how are we able to service this volume in such a short time?
Right.
And, so I went from maybe having, I think, 10 employees when I started to now I have 30.
Wow.
And it's just everyone is working at full capacity all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. And there's a lot of, we actually did a couple of articles on it. I think we're talking about these delivery services. During the pandemic, it was profitable to use them because that's what was available at the time. That's what people had to use.
Yeah.
But what about now? Is it still okay to use these delivery services, or are they still? Because I know I heard they take like 30 to 40%.
They do.
You do?
But they do give you the ability to build that into your menu. So things are more expensive on their menus than they are if you walked into our door. But that's the convenience of having DoorDash.
Right.
It's not going to be the same price.
Right.
And, we do our best not to make it too expensive, but, it does take 2 employees just to run the service. It has its expense.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else that you want to add?
I don't think so.
Awesome. So how do we locate you? How do we find you? Social media, your address?
Yes, 140 North Bond Street, which where the Belle Bakery was for 50 years. A lot of old timers know where that is. And we are on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can find us on all the delivery services.
Oh, so you use all of them. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Yep. And let's see, Instagram, it is the Newberry Cafe, right?
Yes.
And same thing on Facebook. I'll put those links in the
Yep. And our website is newberrydonuts.com.
I am at that right now, newberrydonuts.com.
Yep.
Love your site, by the way. It's very colorful. Love it.
Thank you.
I really love it.
Thank you very much.
Well, Nichol, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing a little bit of Newberry. And to our listeners, go check them out. They have great food. I love your donuts. Can't wait to try your cakes.
So much. Thank you so much.
And I will be in to try more items because I love it and I love to support small businesses. And you have great food.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you for coming on and have a great rest of your day, Nichol.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Q.A.C. Team podcast with your host, Charles Luttrell. Today, we took you beyond the restaurant table and into the kitchen with leaders and business owners in your community. For more information, visit us at QACteam.com or Facebook and Instagram at QAC.team. Thanks for listening.